Third meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. I would like Sheriff Russ Martin, please, to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sheriff Martin. I'm Barb Lewis, President of the Board. To my right is our Vice President, Jeff Benton. To my left is fellow Commissioner Gary Merrill, our Administrator, Tracy Davies, our Deputy Administrator, Don Houston, and our clerks, Sarah DeNovo and Jennifer Walraven. We can begin.
Resolution number 22-418, in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held May 19th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-418. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We do not have any public comment today, so that brings us to item number 3, resolution number 22-419, in the matter of approving purchase orders and in-now certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CMAPR 0520.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 22-419. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Item number 4, we have our Chief Balzer from the Sheriff's Office with a retirement tribute for Alex Durbin.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Jeff Balzer, Chief Deputy for the Sheriff's Office. With me this morning is Alex Durbin, one of our corrections officers. We're here to recognize Alex for his upcoming retirement. On Friday, he'll retire from the Sheriff's Office after 18 years of service as a corrections officer in the jail. Prior to joining the Sheriff's Office, Alex grew up in Mount Vernon, and during his career, he worked for Big Bear Supermarkets for 23 years, where he was the District Loss Prevention Manager. He's had several roles and assignments at the jail, including officer in charge, which basically if there's no sergeant, then he would be in charge of the shift, and as a field training officer for many of our COs. Although I'd say he's got many accomplishments, I think one of his biggest accomplishments is being married for 40 years to his wife, Susan, who's here today also. They have 2 sons and 4 grandchildren. We've got a retirement celebration for Alex at the jail on Friday beginning at 11 a.m., but I want to just take this opportunity on behalf of the sheriff and the whole staff at the jail to wish Alex a happy and healthy retirement and thank him for his dedicated service to the sheriff's office. Alex, would you like to say anything?
I just want to say it's been an honor and privilege to work for the Sheriff's Office. And probably the best thing about it is being able to work with a lot of great people, including the chief and the sheriff. I have started out under Al Myers, and then of course we had Walter Davis, and now Sheriff Martin. And I can honestly say, I think we're under good leadership with these two watching over. So I just want to say thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Commissioners, any comments?
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yes.
18 years at the jail is a long time, and I'm sure you've faced many challenges, but the jail's very well led, very well run, doing a great service for the citizens of Delaware County. So thank you. Hope you enjoy your retirement. You're going to play some golf?
First trip will be Canada.
Canada.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I'd just like to thank you so much. I have had the pleasure of working with Cassie, so I've been at the jail, to visit several times. And I know how well run it is, and for you to be there for that many years, I mean, it's tough duty, so we can't thank you enough.
A lot of ups and downs, but more ups and downs.
Oh, good. That's great.
I just thank you for your service. Chief Balzer made a statement, and I wasn't sure how to interpret it. Your biggest accomplishment is being married 4 years to Susie. Is that saying something about Susie?
Yeah.
Or about you? So I wasn't sure how to interpret that.
Let me clarify that then. I've actually known Susan longer than Alex because I worked with her when I was at the Delaware Police Department.
Oh,
And
okay.
they're just a wonderful couple. That's what I meant to say. Despite all the work achievements he has, I think the fact that they're 40 years, that's the biggest accomplishment. So hopefully that'll be a little better. Okay, all right, thanks.
Oh, gosh, Sheriff.
Yeah, I've want to echo some of the sentiments that Chief Deputy Balzer shared. I've known the Durbins for probably 3 decades now, and spent a lot of time talking to both of them as their sons were playing baseball in high school and college, and what an inspiration it was to watch them invest in their kids. If it really wasn't for Big Bear downsizing and going out, I don't think Alex ever would have come here. And I think 18 years ago, I made a call to then Sheriff Al Myers telling him that if you want to pick up a really good employee, this would be the fella to do it. So it's really bittersweet for us. We're going to miss Alex. I wish I had 10 more just like him, to be honest with you. And right now, I wish I had 30 more just like him. Our workforce in the jail is down 40%, and it's in a crisis mode. It has to do with a lot of issues. Some of it, the labor conundrum that we're facing, across the board. But Alex has mentioned leadership. He didn't have to say that on his last week, but this leadership team that's here is supporting him, and Chief Balzer have even taken shifts on the floor out there to cover. So that's the kind of folks that I get to work with day in and day out. So we're really going to miss Alex. He's been a consummate professional. He's reliable, and his just represents a great family as well. So I'm going to be sad to lose him. So, but congratulating him though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I believe we have our jail director, Jesse. Is Jesse here?
Our assistant jail director, both of our assistant jail
That's-
directors are here.
okay.
Scott Burden and Jesse Jackson
Yes,
on behalf of.
yes. Would you like to say anything? Sure. Yeah, you work hard every day there.
Yeah, we do. Thank you. On behalf of Nick Carafa is the jail director. I'm Jesse Jackson, the assistant director. This is Scott Burden, the assistant director. I've worked with Alex for many, many years. I've been there for almost 17. It's been an honor working with you. It's been a pleasure, and I'm extremely happy for you to retire and enjoy the next phase of your journey. So it's been a
thank
pleasure.
you.
I came over from the state correctional system after 25 years. Alex was one of the first officers I met there. He was an FTO, and he was very instrumental in my success there. When I came over to transition, training me, teaching me the Delaware County ways, and we both are Apple Valley guys from Mount Vernon, Ohio, so we have a lot of background together. So, but anyway, I just wish him the best of luck. And it's been a challenge over there, and like you said, there's been more ups and downs. So I wish you well and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thanks, Jesse.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
We have
Oh,
a pic,
yes,
we have a
and we have-
proclamation
oh, yeah.
picture.
And we also have
Turn that part.
a resolution.
Susan, would you like to be in the Go ahead.
Once a chief, always a chief.
Susan and Alex in the middle, please.
You on that side?
I'm going, yes, thank you, Barb. All right, everybody over here in 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you. Congratulations. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I got that back to work.
Okay.
Item number 5 on our agenda is Cassie Neff with the Criminal Justice Programs Manager with the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, and she has a presentation for us today on the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services Landlord Mitigation Claims Fund Stepping Up County's pilot program.
Thank you, Cassie, for
Good
coming.
morning, good morning. So I'm here to talk about our latest Stepping Up project called the Landlord Mitigation Funds Pilot. And to remind everybody, Stepping Up initiative looks at the criminal justice system at large and analyzes the flow that people with mental health and addiction have through the point of contact with our deputies, to booking at the jail, to arraignment with the judges, to first meeting with their probation officer, and so forth, and helps us understand those intercepts where we can intervene and connect them to appropriate treatments in hopes to reduce their ongoing cycle of reincarceration. So the outcome measures that we are constantly evaluating is to reduce the number of people with mental illness booked into the jail, shorten the length of stay for people with mental illness into the jail, increase their connections to the appropriate services and supports, and lower their rates of recidivism. So the Landlord Mitigation Funds pilot is going to enhance our existing LINK, Lives in Need of Connection Jail program. This program is comprised of a team of professionals. Myself, we have a program coordinator, we have a mental health clinician, a case manager, and an in-reach specialist. And each of those folks work for different agencies. We did that very intentional. That way we have connections with our community and we can provide the clients with options while they're in jail. Each person receives a reentry plan that is very different for each person. And depending on the length of stay that they're in jail, we can get them connected to clinical interventions. That will look like individual mental health counseling, treatment addiction groups. We will sign people up for Medicaid so that they can access their benefits upon release from jail. We do parenting classes, educational, vocational, and 12-step support groups, and then faith-based services for those who choose. Our newest program to enhance that, we mentioned that at the state of the county, is a medicated assistant treatment. This is a medication used for it's a long-acting injectable used to support people in long-term recovery of opiate use disorder. And reentry planning, very, very important. So a lot of times what that reentry plan will look like is our case manager will meet people in the jail lobby and take them to their next appointment, whether that be driving them directly to residential treatment, taking them to their probation appointment, or going around to the food pantries before dropping them off at a homeless shelter. We really want to walk alongside folks within their first 24 hours of release from jail, because that's where we find they're the most vulnerable to relapse or return to criminal lifestyles and behaviors. We're 4 years running, so last year's our statistics is we were able to increase the number of people that we served by 43%. Folks participating in the LINK program had a recidivism rate of 23% compared to the general population of 54%. And we do follow them upon release. So last year, on average, folks participating in the LINK program stayed engaged with treatment services for 26 days. So we are moving that needle. Do they relapse? Yes. Do they come back to jail? Yes. Recovery is a long-term journey. All right, to the Landlord Mitigation Funds pilot. The purpose of this is to establish a claims fund that partner landlords can access to mitigate the damage to units without having to submit to their insurance claims, and keep their willingness to rent to individuals with mental health and mental illness that continue to cycle in and out of jail and have difficulty securing the housing because of their illness. Housing is a huge barrier. We truly do believe in Maslow's hierarchy theory is in order for people to be successful in their recovery, they need to stabilize their basic needs, being housing one of those, and of course food. Food and shelter are the two primary. So the funds come in partnership with Stepping Up Ohio, the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, the Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections, and the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services have set aside approximately $115,000 for this pilot. We are one of the 10 counties invited to participate in this program. What is it? It will operate as an insurance program for eligible landlords who rent to individuals and families with the long histories with the criminal justice involvement, most often have poor rental histories, and have mental illness and co-occurring substance use histories. The Risk Mitigation Claims Fund will encourage these landlords to reduce restrictions and feel confident that their investment of the rental property will be protected while working with local providers to house these individuals with mental health issues that have histories with the criminal justice system. The difference between the mitigation and a landlord incentive. So the risk mitigation project is a retention strategy. It is to add protection to rent to these individuals. We call them the stepping up population, and it's a reimbursement of losses. The funds will provide insurance and assurance to a landlord that any perceived risk in renting to the person with a poor rental history, severe persistent mental illness, and a criminal justice background is recognized and appreciated. It's new and strengthened partnerships between criminal justice systems, homeless shelters, affordable housing communities, and the integrated behavioral health partners. And it's an opportunity for payment of damages that would provide them with an extra layer of protection if the rental does incur damage above the normal wear and tear, or if the tenant disappears without paying the rent and no local fund can cover that. The availability of funding. So the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services will be the program administrator for the Claims Fund pilot. The total funds allocated are $115,000, and we talked about the sponsors. And the funds are going to be made available to first come, first served basis. Allowable use of funds. Payment of property damage to the unit by the stepping up tenant during the tenancy or at move out that are above the normal wear and tear. Reimbursement of unpaid rent if the stepping up tenant abandons the apartment or housing unit before the lease ends, maximum of 2 months. And claims submitted for the unit property damage will be capped at $5,000. This cap is to align with the potential deductible that the landlord may have their own property insurance and to assist a landlord with the small claims that are not appropriate to submit on their own insurance company. Ineligible use of funds, rental subsidies, pre-lease or tenant move-in or move-out financial incentives for the landlord, financial assistance to the tenant for move-in costs such as applications or pay off tenant debt such as past utility bills or back rent owned, funds for supportive services, furniture, household items, things to put into the unit, payment for non-payment of rent unless the tenant abandons the lease, and incentives to recruit or retain landlords. I will say that we will be working with other community providers. What comes to mind is the ERAP program. So for tenants who do have past utility bills, or if that is a barrier to get the unit in the first place, we're going to be working with community partners in their access to funds. Okay. Expectations of the stepping up representative. I will serve in this role. So I will be responsible for review of the unit for damages and meet with the landlord to discuss abandonment of the lease, provide technical assistance regarding the claim, and review the claim for completeness and eligibility, serve as the liaison between Ohio MOS and the local landlord, and collect the outcomes data. Do we have any questions or comments?
Yeah, Kathy, I got a question. Now, one of the slides where you talk about what it's not, it says not to be used for non-payment of rentals.
Uh-huh.
But I think in a previous slide, you said it can be used for back rent or something if a tenant leaves.
Great question. The clarification is it can be used if the tenant abandons the current lease up to 2 months. So it cannot be used for if a tenant is in debt for non-payment. It has to be current month that they abandon and then 2 months after that.
Okay. Okay, I see the distinction, but that's an important protection for the landlord, both of those.
The only comment I have is, I think it's a great program, and I realize that if I, as a landlord, sometimes you have reticence to rent. I hope we hold the people, if they damage the property, I hope we hold them accountable. In theory, they should still have to reimburse to stepping up program rather than the landlord. But accountability is important. If they can damage it and walk away with no, let's say, no accountability, then I'm not sure that's a healthy program. Just my observation. You don't even have to comment. Just make that
I would
comment.
like to comment.
Huh?
I would like to
Okay.
comment, because we've talked about this. So this landlord risk mitigation pilot is for the landlord, so we want them to feel protected. And if unfortunately the tenant damaged their property above the normal wear and tear, we want to provide help for that landlord. But for that tenant, we will hold them accountable, and it may result in no further assistance from our program.
But not necessarily seek reimbursement?
The reimbursement will not go to the tenant.
I understand that, but would we look to the individual for reimbursement for the damage that was compensated by this program? Again, I realize it probably isn't set up for that purpose, but accountability is a big deal, and in this society today, we've gotten away from that, and just an observation, so,
I understand what you're saying.
okay?
And thank you so much, Cassie. I know there was a committee that studied this issue that met several times, and attorneys, and who led that again?
Sally Lucan
Uh-huh.
led that. She is the consultant for Stepping Up Ohio. And during that time, Delaware County had participated in a technical assistance program. We were looking at, we didn't have a good way to track and identify people who were homeless within the jail.
Mhm. Right. And the problem has been that landlords, fearing that they won't be reimbursed for damages, don't rent to people.
Yes.
So thus, this is, has anybody else adopted this, any other counties? I know this is a pilot program.
We
that-
are one of 10,
Okay,
and we have Columbiana, Cuyahoga, Hamilton, Hancock, Lorraine, Lucas, Ross, Summit, and Wood.
okay. And that'll be great. If you could give us reports on it in the future and how it works, that'll be.
I will.
that'll
I'm
be
curious to
super.
see how this will go. It's gonna be a great segue for me and my team to work with the landlord community, because we don't. Another
Right.
barrier is the availability of units. So for the population that I serve, it's very hard to get a landlord that feels comfortable renting with somebody who has severe persistent mental illness and a criminal history. But first you have to find an available, affordable unit. So we're gonna try.
Well, I'd like to thank you. You've done an excellent job heading the Stepping Up program, and it's, I believe our Stepping Up program is probably the best in the state, and due largely to Cassie's continued work on it, and also others who have helped across the board, been judges, prosecutor, faith-based churches. Well, I guess all churches are faith-based, but the faith-based community has just been great too in
Yes.
reaching out. So,
Yes, they are instrumental.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Cassie.
much.
Thank you, Kathy.
All right.
Okay.
Item number 6, resolution number 22-420, in the matter of approving supplemental appropriations for domestic relations court.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion, vote.
So
Got
Oh,
discussion.
sorry. Oh, no.
Larry's here. Larry came all this way.
Gee, yeah.
This is the best presentation I've ever given.
Oh, yeah. No, please, we don't want to miss anything you want to say. Thank you.
I really didn't have a lot. It's for a couple of retiring employees, and we're happy that they're, having their next chapter, and so it's just sick and vacation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 22-420. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-421, in the matter of approving the extension of lease agreement by and between the Delaware County Board of Developmental Disabilities and the Board of County Commissioners on behalf of the Delaware County Sheriff's Office for certain real property located at 149 East Orange Road, Lewiston, Ohio.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Chase Waits. I'm with the County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and with me today is...
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Amy Funk. I'm the Director of Operations, Business Manager.
Oh, welcome.
Thank you.
And as you know, we have a great relationship with the Sheriff's Office renting space in our building. So this year, we added in the entire second floor so they can do some tactical training at no additional cost. And we want to extend this agreement for an additional 2 years.
Okay. Any questions? Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-421. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 22-422, in the matter of approving a professional services agreement between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners and Montrose Scoop LLC for economic development services.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is solely an agreement with the Montrose Group, who the county has used in the past just to provide additional economic development support to help our office as we continue to grow the county in search of continuing employees in the office as well.
Okay. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-422. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number
Thanks, John.
22-423, in the matter of approving the plat of subdivision for Callaway Run CAD.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. Lee Bodnar, Administrator for the Engineer's Office. Before you for your approval is a plat leading to 5 buildable lots that are located between Robbins Road and Center Village Road in Harlem Township. It has been reviewed, and we would recommend your approval.
Okay, vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-423. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-424, in the matter of approving right-of-way work permit summary sheet.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, Commissioners, for your approval are 3 standard utility permits with nothing out of the ordinary to report.
Okay, vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-424. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to administrator reports.
Commissioner Merrill. Oh, I'm sorry.
I have nothing
I
today,
just
so
Well,
perfectly fine.
after that, you wouldn't
That's-
dare have anything,
yeah.
would you?
And I don't either, thank you.
Okay. Now, Commissioner Merrill, your
I just have a couple things. I was privileged to attend the evening of generosity for Delaware Foundation Thursday evening at the barn and the acknowledgement of the awardees, and went really well. And I had to miss the COYC meeting because of that, because I can't be in 2 places at once. But I know Commissioner Benton represented us well there. And Saturday morning, I was privileged to the dedication of the new flag stand and at the, forgetting the name of it now, I apologize for that. Thank you. And it went really, really well, and I was attentive about, I'd say about 70 people, and it was a great event, and it was supported by the veterans, and we were fortunate to have one more representation of saluting our country and our veterans in this great city and county. Thank you.
Commissioner Benton.
Just a couple things. Went to the Sunbury Big Walnut Chamber breakfast Friday morning at Big Walnut Grill, and George Keitza was the speaker, our auditor, and he presented some interesting information, as always. There were 30, 40 people there, and it was, again, it's very interesting. George has a lot of services in his office that he manages, and he was talking about that and so on. So good presentation, good information. COIC meeting that Commissioner Merrill referenced was Thursday evening as well, and that went fine. Really, COIC is doing pretty well. Had the Delaware County Historical Society call. They're doing a strategic plan, so I met with their planner, and that's moving forward. They've got a interesting challenge. They've got a lot on their plate, trying to manage through it. Land bank meeting tomorrow afternoon. Community enhancement grants Thursday after session. Presentations, some of them. So all I got.
Okay, and I'll be at the Senior Hall of Fame presentation on Wednesday, andLl report back as to how it went. That's it. We have need for executive session.
We do. Resolution number 22-425, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of appointment, promotion, and compensation of a public employee or public official, and for pending or imminent litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion vote.
Vote on motion 22-425. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We're now recessed into executive session.